The Flash 784, Jeremy Adams with Amanke Nihulpin on the art. Forgive me, I can't speak today. So you don't read this one. So this is just.
I don't, and it's a Dark Crisis tie-in, right? Which
it is, but it's very, they're looking for Barry Allen. They've jumped into different universes to find them. This Flash family have, and the last issue set up where each of the teams kind of landed. And do you know what? I enjoyed this issue. I'm enjoying this little arc. Sort of, even independently of Dark Crisis. I think
there's a butt coming.
No, well, there's kind of a butt, but it's not a bad butt. It's just the butt is that this read insanely quick. Like, I couldn't believe that I was at the end of the issue when it said, next time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wait, what? It's over? So I guess it's just maybe a slight critique is that I didn't feel the crescendo and, like, climax of an issue. And I think part of that's because it's split into three, because it's, like, following three groups. So we start off in the Mad Max Fury Road Flash universe that Max Mercury and Jesse Quick have went to. And Barry's, basically Mad Max in this, going down the desert, being chased with all these vehicles.
The hell is going on in this book?
So they've found three signatures that could be their Barry, but two of them obviously aren't, and they're just in different universes. So this one's a Mad Max Barry Allen, where he's in a car. He's not running, but he's he's throwing out grenades at the other vehicles. Jesse and Max try to intervene and like sort of take everyone out without killing anyone. Mad Max Barry's not thrilled about them interfering. And the villain that's coming after, what was the name? Where is she? It's very much Terramungus, yes. And she's on like a big vehicle, and it's got all these. If I listen, is that speakers? Yeah, it's all like the car in Fury Road that's got the guitars. She's not playing guitar, but it's got like this like cylinder of amplifiers behind her.
The hell is going on in this book?
So that's kind of where that one leaves up. And that's a really fun batch of pages, because it's just like, here's the Flash Fury Road and shenanigans. And then we go to the kids, which is Jay and Irie, and they've went to a world where Flash is kind of Batman. We get a name for him, but last issue we saw there's a tower that says Allen Tower or whatever. And it's clearly Gotham. We saw the silhouette and he looks more Batman-esque. And here we see he's got like a red cape, and he's got like the Flash horns, but they're kind of tall, like bat ears. And he refers to himself as Night Flash. And he's like, "You came to my city. Who are you?" And he starts chasing after them. So they run away and they bolt. And there's not really, again, too much to it, but it's like a really fun bit of art, and the design for this sort of scary version of the Flash is kind of interesting. But it's the kids anchor it by like being their usual adorable selves, and they're bickering between each other, and they're worried because they've lost their beeper thing that'll send them back to their own universe, and like shit. They don't say that, of course, because they're good kids.
Obviously,
that's my interpretation of it. And then the third part of the issue is in the kind of the Silver Age looking era part, where we suspect that our real Barry Allen has been sort of brainwashed into the sort of Black Mercy style thing, where he's living in his Silver Age with a young Wally, and Iris is his wife and whatever. So Wally and Wallace are like, okay, what do we do here? This is strange. Wally notices that, well, this is kind of like their past. It's not really their past, because one Barry doesn't look any younger. He still looks like kind of current day middle-aged Barry Allen, so that doesn't quite add up. And they're like, okay, how about we split up? Wally says, I'll go speak to Barry and try to like talk him into like remembering what's going on, and you go talk to my younger self and see if you can glean any information. But when Wally appears in front of Barry, he doesn't see what we see. It's actually a really neat page, because we go into like the Barry Silver Age perspective with his narration, and he's all smiley and it's very old school. He's like, I can pick up some flowers for Iris on the way home. But then the next full page is he stops dead in his tracks because Thawne's there. Reverse Flash is in front of him. But then the next page turns and we see that it's actually just Wally, and he's like, wait, why are you acting? Barry, calm down, what's going on? And Barry starts punching him and stuff, and like Wally has to pretend himself, and eventually calls him Thawne, and he's like, wait, Thawne, what are you talking about? So he's like trying to break through to him. So we get this kind of fight where like some of the different tricks have been used with the vibrating and the the tornado arms and all the rest of it.
The usual.
But he tries to say, look, it's me, it's Wally, it's Wally. And he's like, no, it's not. This is a trick, Thor, and I know I'm not falling for this. And he's like, I'm done letting you torture me. You're never going to hurt my family again. And he's ready to punch the shit out of him. So it's like, and that's not the weird, because that part all is quite simple and makes sense. You get what's happening here. The trickery of this illusion is kind of like, it's almost like a built-in defense to deal with the fact that someone's real's there, try to change things or break him out of it. Things get a bit weirder though when Wallace goes to the house to try and talk to young Wally. Wally just walks up to him and says, "Hey, cuz, been waiting for you," and calls him something else. He calls him Burst, I think, yeah. And then Wallace looks down and his costume's turned into like a silver and black costume with like a red symbol. And he's like, what the hell's happening? What happened to my costume? He's like, now come in and have dinner with everyone. So the final page of the issue is Wallace, who seemingly is becoming like a new character that this like world is sort of built for him. It's like he's getting brainwashed like Barry is into the fantasy. But because they've already got like, a Wally and a Kid Flash, they've kind of like made another young Flash speedster to fit here. And there's a couple of other speedsters at this dinner. Jay's there, with the wife.
This issue sounds so jam-packed full of stuff. Like, how this was a fast read.
Honestly, it was a really fast read. Because
I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Like, I'm just surprised the amount that you're throwing out at me. It sounds like a really dense, long read, if anything.
It sounds dense because there's a lot of concepts, but like so much of it's action. So like the first like third is like all this car chase stuff and like just jumping around and grenades and wacky Mad Max villains. The middle's running away from like Flash Batman with the kids, and they're terrified of him. And then this last third is all the Silver Age stuff, and like it's not actually like, I think it's a credit to the writing how much, like when you say it all out loud, how dense it sounds, but it doesn't feel dense at all when you're reading it.
No, that's why I'm surprised. But that is, I'd say a good thing, aside from the fact that it felt like you were missing your crescendo. I guess because that's because it's cut in between the three things, kind of just starts over each time, right?
Yeah, that'll be why it feels that way. Yeah, and that's why it's maybe got that one caveat. But I because I enjoyed the introduction to these worlds last, because the last issue was like the first half was like them all like discussing the plan. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And then all of your like 3 separate cliffhangers were, okay, this is the worlds they've all ended up in. This issue was like, okay, let's like actually delve into like what's going on in these worlds. So I had a fun time. The art is good. I appreciate just the sort of the pin dots and all that stuff in the Silver Age part, just to make it feel really different with the muted colors. It looks really good. The Flash Batman stuff does feel like a sort of Batman comic in terms of its visual style. Which is neat. And then the Mad Max stuff is just like, okay, what movie do we want to do a homage to? Let's do Mad Max Fury Road. All right, let's just go nuts and have fun with it. So I had a good time. I'm happy to give this a. I think I'll go 7.5. I won't give it quite the 8 because it did. When I got to the end, I was like, oh wait, that was the end. That for that feeling and not feeling like it sort of like had like a full issue meal feel to it, I'll drop it down to 7.5. But I had a good time, and
it sounds from your description like you got like 3 kind of bite-sized little things that were all good, but there wasn't enough of any one thing to give it a real kind of meaty chunk to an issue.
Yeah, story, yeah. Which is fine. I'm sure that the 3 issues, when they're all out, when you read them in the trade or whatever back to back, it was probably going to be a nice 3 issue hit.
Oh, is it only 3 issues, this?
I think so, yeah. It's only a 3 issue part of the book.